Support for Donnybrook Last Call is provided in part by Design Air Heating and Cooling.
Now this is kind of Donnybrook.
Thanks for joining us for Last Call. We're going to you, Jason. You're batting leadoff here on our first topic, and that is the city of St. Louis announced, I think surprisingly last week, that it would no longer be conducting alley recycling. People put these recycle bins in the alleys, and then, of course, the material that's supposed to be recycled goes in them. If you live in a single-family home that is not next to an alley, I guess you're still going to have single-stream recycling. But there are going to be some recycling centers established in the city, and people will be able to drive with their cans and glass and whatnot. What do you think?
Well, I used to live in the city. I used to live in St. Louis Hills, and it was nice to be able to, walk in the alley and just put recycling in the recycling bin. I think a lot of people may not want to take time out of their day to go a half a mile or a mile away, depending on how many of there are there. But I think that there was a pretty compelling argumentation that this was costing a lot of money. There was a lot of contamination. It's not like us bougie folks in Richmond Heights who have a recycling trash can and we put it on the side of the road and Republic Services takes it away. I think it'll certainly be interesting to see how much money it saves and how people adapt to this new system.
I like that they had a figure. They could put that so much of the recycling is contaminated that it costs the city over $600,000. I like that they put a number on it. At the same time, I think any effort to recycle is a good one. And yes, in Kirkwood, we do have the individual recycling things and one of the best recycling centers in the country. So I guess I'm biased. So anything you can do to recycle,
no, not you.
Every city should be trying.
Kirkwood was at the lead with Francis Scheidegger.
Right, Francis Scheidegger.
Yeah,
right.
Columbia was also at the lead, but a tornado in April wiped out their material recovery facility.
I didn't know that.
And they're not doing anything now.
Columbia, Illinois, right?
Columbia, Missouri.
Oh, Columbia, Missouri.
Yes.
Well, it's hard to know exactly what can be recycled.
Yes.
Can I recycle this, or how about my pizza box if it still has,
That's a big no-no at our
cheese
house.
melted on
That's
it.
a huge no-no at our house.
The pizza places I go to, one, national chain, other little small place, both of the boxes say recycle. So I'm confused, what are you not supposed to recycle?
Well, I have talked to other women who are married to men who put cheesy pizza boxes in the recycle.
Oh.
And their heads spin around just like mine.
There's a letter to the editor this week in the Post by Brian Elsasay, who writes us once in a while. He lives in Ladue, but used to live in the city of St. Louis. And he writes that people were putting their doggy droppings in the recycle.
But see,
bins.
that's people make mistakes, or people just are silly.
Or they're
but I
just
don't.
not really into it.
Well,
They're doing the wrong
I don't know.
stuff.
I think people who have the receptacles at their house, I think we really do try to do a good job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think people are putting the wrong stuff in.
Well, I understand that, but it does
that's-
say on the little thing says what you should and should not put in.
you've got
you
that.
don't know. That's what I mean. You're not sure what boxes can go in there.
And then you always hear somebody in the neighborhood saying, well, they just put them all together, don't you? I mean,
There is some of that,
So-
because a lot, 40% on some loads goes to the landfill.
Yeah, which is a big problem, and it's costly. So I think this is going to be worth watching to see if it's not only saving more money, but whether people adapt to the new
Okay.
But
reality.
didn't we say, though, that those basic services, that is a mayor's, that is do or die for a mayor, so good for her.
Well, she's eliminating a basic service.
But
That's
she's
good.
increasing the amount
Well,
of
improving
trash,
it is the idea.
trash
We'll find out. Yeah,
Trash
we'll see.
pickup.
If people drive to the recycle
increasing.
center, some people
Yeah.
might just lazily put the recycle stuff in
Well,
with
at
the
least
trash.
the alleys will be cleaner, Charlie.
If you're, what was didn't they say increasing trash pickup by 100%? How is
Or
that
double.
a bad thing?
Yeah, well, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Although I've thought to myself, I wonder where those trash receptacles are going to be.
Fire stations.
Yeah, okay, we'll see.
Bill McClellan, it was announced this week that more FBI agents are coming to the city of St. Louis, but there wasn't any announcement as to how many, so we don't know if it's 2 or 10 or whatever. Are you skeptical, or are you applauding this?
Oh, I think it's a good thing. I mean, the St. Louis police are low on manpower, and I think it's kind of a daydream that we're ever going to get back to the numbers they used to have, and they can work with the federal agents. I mean, a matter of fact, when Kim Gardner was the prosecutor and wasn't doing cases, the feds were picking up a lot of the load. You know, the DEA people were doing drug cases the city used to do. And I think that the city police can use help, and these joint task forces will be good.
And I'm not sure if we noted the passing of the great Mr. Webster from the FBI and the CIA, but that's what the first thing I thought of when William Webster.
It was notable to me that it was said like a record investment, but they couldn't say how much money or how many people. I know it said it was going to be fighting violent crime, which I think that Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Natural Law Party, Green Party, I think we're all pretty anti-violent crime. But there's a lot of distrust with this administration across the board. We just spent a lot of time talking about the FBI's leadership not being particularly without controversy.
Experienced.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that like the agents who are coming in are going to be doing anything unethical or unlawful.
Right. I think the leaders of the FBI, I mean, it's very political right now, obviously, Kash Patel and Andrew Bailey. But over the years, when I had to deal with FBI agents, they were really just cops with a different kind of badge, I thought.
My dealings with them, that they were highly intelligent individuals held to a higher standard, and FBI agents, like coming to St. Louis, I'm still wondering what you're going to do, because I don't see my FBI agent that I'm investing in busting some hoodlums and stuff like that. That's up to the police. Like, I just think they should be doing something for the national security and all that. I really got not problems with it, but I'm just like, ain't Dillinger dead? I mean, what? Can we find something?
How many campus shootings, though, have there been in the last 72 hours? I mean, I think were there 2 today, or two reported today? So, you think of the FBI, you think of counterterrorism and that meaty stuff.
Well, the U.S. Attorney's Office, too, it would always have a task force to work with the city cops.
Right.
And I think this could play into it.
I think actually the FBI is working on that case in Clayton where 3 cars were firebombed about 3 weeks
things
ago.
like that.
Things
And
like
by the
that.
way, I was not calling police officers unintelligent.
Right.
I'm just saying that there was...
Do you find it strange? Like, 2 years ago, Republicans were saying, we're going to have the Second Amendment Protection Act so that the local police could not cooperate with the feds when it came to gun crimes.
Charlie, there's no crime. Hypocrisy is now legal. I don't know if you heard that.
Well, also, most of the crime that we're really concerned about in the city of St. Louis would be gun crime.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly. And yet, Senator Schmidt, are you in favor of any sensible gun regulations or gun laws?
No.
The key word there was
that?
sensible, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm not saying taking them away.
No, I'm just saying, like,
I
you're
would-
asking Eric Schmidt and others for some sensibility. You bang your head against that.
I also have the theory that Eric Schmidt caused crime because he's the guy behind Senate Bill 5, which said that no municipality could raise more than 20% of its operating revenue through traffic tickets. And so, like it or not, cities just stopped enforcing a lot of traffic laws.
I actually asked him, isn't that literally defunding the police? And he did not like that question in 2020.
But it was a good question.
great
But it
question.
is actually, if they have less money for police because they're not getting as many tickets and they can't recoup the revenue, that is an example of them
Valid.
getting less money.
Yep.
So, but I do think that there was a reasoning for that because a lot of those police departments were very predatory against.
Yeah, but have you seen the streets lately? I mean, they're out of
Oh, my
control.
God.
We all know that.
Right. Note to myself,
The Wild
steal
West.
Jason's line about defunding police.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, too many topics and too little time. But in the next 40 seconds, it turns out that Fan Duel, maybe the biggest giant ever in sports betting, Alvin, is not going to have the untethered betting contract in the state of Missouri.
Well, I'll tell you what, yes, when I make my visit over to the DraftKings site on Illinois, I like DraftKings. Circa, I don't know how they ended up in it. I'm telling you, NFL owners can own up to 2%, I think, in these gambling conglomerates. For some reason, I don't know if the Hunt family is in it, but I smell the Chiefs in this.
You know, it's good to see a real underdog story and Fan Duel lose, but they're going to still operate because they're linking up with St. Louis SC, so it doesn't really have anything more than just a feel-good story of the little guy beating the big guy.
When does sports betting begin in Missouri?
December.
December 1st.
Yeah.
How could an NFL owner even own 2% of that?
It's the NFL. They do what they want.
grief.
We could talk an hour on that.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have an hour. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, Jason. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week.